Okay, so where we are now in this rectangle here, this is called, we are amongst the artifacts from the ancient Sumerian culture and its capital city of Ur. Ur is the hometown of yes, is the answer. You're correct in what you're saying. We'll come to that. It's the hometown of a person. Abraham. Very good. Abraham. Right. You know, Abraham, timeline-wise, he's about 2200 BC, thereabouts. So you can sort of do the math. 2200 BC. And this is worth just being here to kind of get a different fix on Abraham as a person. Because he's so far back in time, in a sense, so far back in the Bible narrative, that we maybe think of him as some sort of Neanderthal, some sort of hairy Neanderthal bloke, you know, who lives by this mosquito-ridden puddle in the desert, you know, banging stones together to make fire, and God says, I want you to come with me, and he goes, oh yeah, you know, we come, kind of thing. But all of this stuff that you can see here is from Abraham's city, and it is about 500 years before Abraham. So this is the city and the culture from which it came. Now, a lot of it's royal stuff or stuff from the nobility, but the truth is that the city of Ur was a highly developed, advanced culture, even in the days of Abraham. So when God called him to leave it, he was leaving behind art, technology, science, writing, you know, all kinds of advancements that would eventually give way, you're quite right, to the Chaldeans, to the Babylonians. They would build on all of this, but it just changes our perspective of Abraham just a little bit. Also, if I just give you a step aside here, Leonard Woolley is looking for Ur. He is an Englishman, he's a Bible man, he's looking for the hometown of Abraham. He does find it. He spends a dozen or more years excavating it, and it's not finished yet by a long way. One thing he finds is what's called the Great Death Pit. It's a royal burial, but we're not quite sure who the royal was. It could be a king or queen, don't know. But when you think about the Jericho tomb, you know, you take stuff with you for the afterlife. You go through those doors there, that's where all the mummies are, the Egyptian mummies, and all the stuff that they took with them from the afterlife. But almost invariably, it is carved wooden things representing things that you meet. So there's boats and bakeries and donkeys and horses and little models of people, shabti, slaves. There's even just in the first cabinet on the left, there's a wooden box I call the eternal lunchbox. There's a wooden box full of wooden food that the Pharaoh's spirit is going to live on in eternity, all these sorts of things. But what Woolley found here is something that takes that whole thought to another level. Because whenever the king or queen in Ur died, they didn't bother taking with them wooden representations of things. If the king dies and you are part of his household or his entourage, you are going with him into the afterlife. So he takes the real thing. So these soldiers here, these oxen, these slaves and servants and so on, all of these sort of advisors and counsellors, they're all going with him to the afterlife. And Woolley actually remarks, he says it's in such an orderly kind of setup, there's no impression that they were resisting it. It was what they were there for, you know? They were there to serve their king in eternity. Our friends, most of us are Christians, hopefully all of us perhaps. You know, we talk a lot about being with our king in eternity. The truth is, we know how we get there, aren't we? These people live for it. They said, that's what we're here for. If the king or queen is gone ahead, we need to get there so that we can be with them for the whole of their afterlife. And so these soldiers have lots of little cups around them, and it's believed that they drank a poison that they wouldn't have known about and fell into the tomb. It was then covered over. But with modern techniques, University of Philadelphia is doing a lot of this work. They're looking at the skulls of these soldiers, and what they're finding is each of the skulls has a hole in the back. So what would happen is you go into the tomb, you go with your king, you would drink your poison, fall to the ground, then your boss would come along and make sure that you drop the head of the king where he's going. And behind you here is one of the actual skulls from the tomb. It looks weird because it's been compressed by hundreds of tons of rock and rubble for 3,000 years or more. But with X-rays, you can actually see the depth in the health there and the corresponding hole in the skull. But I mean, look at that, how remarkably that's preserved. You can see all his teeth, he's got a full set of teeth, this guy. So it's quite striking, isn't it? So it puts, again, a different perspective on our guy Abraham and the culture that he came from.